everyone, this is Sonal and welcome to my channel with Sonal. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I created this t-shirt using my bodice pattern. If you haven't seen that video yet, I have linked it right here. You can click that icon and see that video first. And guys, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. And also, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and comment down below if you have any questions for me. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I have linked my handles down below. So first I will start with folding the fabric widthwise. Just like so once, and I'm just trying to line it with my cutting board because this is a knit fabric and it stretches, so just to make sure that it's nice and straight on the center line. And now I will take the front pattern which I have cut on my earlier video that I have linked down below, and you can check it out to create your own patterns. And I will take my pins and start pinning this pattern. Just like so. And just trying to make sure that fabric is not wrinkled anywhere and it lays flat. As you can see, I have pinned my pattern with the fabric. And now I will get a marker and make markings with the seam allowance. So as you can see, I will make half-inch seam allowance marking on my neckline. You can always use a ruler to make this marking, but I just wing it, and I use this friction pen. The markings go away with the steam, and I'm going to take 1 inch seam allowance for my side seams, and you can add more seam allowance if you want a loose fitting top. So I'm going to make a scallop edge on this hem, so I am taking 2 inches seam allowance for this hem. I will also show you how to make scallop hems. It looks so pretty and cute, and I think it is so much nice and fitting for the spring that is coming up. So this is what my front looks like. Now I will do the same for the back as well, and I will take the same seam allowance that I took on the front on the back. Now I have placed my fabric on double for both the sleeves. And I will place my pattern over it. And pin it. You can always place some weight over the pattern and the fabric and not pin it, but I just like to pin it because the fabric doesn't move a lot and it stays in place. For the seam allowance, I will mark 1 inch on both the sides because I have made 1 inch seam allowance on my top, the bodice part, and I will make half-inch seam allowance on the top part here. And for the bottom, I will going to make 2 inches seam allowance. Guys, if you haven't tried using a rotary cutter and a cutting board, trust me guys, just try it. It's so much easier than a scissors, and the fabric doesn't move around a lot, and the rotary cutter just helps it have a nice clean edges. Okay, so as I said that I would make a little notch on the fabric just to make sure that I know where my sleeves start on the shoulder line. I take my scissors and make a tiny little triangle, like so. So that's it guys, this is how my sleeves pattern looks like. To get the sewing started, I am laying my front and back right sides together, and I'm pinning it on the shoulder for the shoulder seam, and I will make a stitch on 1/2 inch seam allowance. After sewing the front and back together on the shoulders, I will measure my neckline for my neckband. For my neckband, I cut a strip on biased for about 2 inches wide. For me, the length of my neckline was 21 inches. I subtracted 3 inches from that, that is 18 inches. That would be the length of my neckband. After cutting the neckband, I sewed both the sides together. Here I'm folding the neckband into half and pinning it, and I'm making sure that my pins are on the 4 ends of the band so that it's divided equally. Now I'm placing the neckband onto the t-shirt neckline. I am making sure that the stitch line is on the back part, and I'm lining it with the center back. Now I'm pinning the front part, and then while pinning it on the shoulders, I like to go 1/2 inch towards the front because the front neckline is a little deeper, and I will do it on the other side as well. And then I will pin the center front with the center pin, and then while pinning it between the shoulder and the center front, I will stretch the fabric a little bit and then pin it, and then I will make a stitch with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And while on the sewing machine, I like to stretch it a little bit so that it's nice and snug on the neckline. This is how your neckline should look like. Now I will go ahead on my press and press it so that it's nice and firm. Here I've taken a paper pattern and I'm making a straight line across the length. The pattern paper is about 15 inches long, and then I have taken a small lid from my spice container which was about 1 3/4 inch diameter. It's a circle, and I use this for my scallop edges. It makes just about perfect scallop edges. And then I am making 1.5 inch marking on that line, so it's 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, and so on. And then I am placing my circle, my lid over that point and making small circles. And I like to fold my pattern into half so that it's easy to make the pattern, make the scallop edges, and also it saves a lot of time. As you can see, I am making small circles using my lid and going about halfway through the line and then drawing small circles over it. Now I'm pinning it on one edge where it's open, and then I will cut the pattern on the line where I have made the scallop design. This is how the scallop should look like after cutting it from the pattern. And now I have also cut a facing fabric for my sleeves to face it with for the scallop design, and I'm placing it on the sleeves, on the sleeve hem, with the right sides facing together, and then I'm placing my pattern paper over it, and then I'm pinning it all the way along. And if you like, you can just make markings on the edge, but I just like to pin it all the way and exclude making the marks on the fabric. On my sewing machine, you can see I am placing my needle just where the pattern ends, and I try to make a stitch along the edge of the pattern and try not to make a stitch on the pattern on the paper, and I just go slowly along the edge and just make a stitch there. As you can see, I am just steadily guiding my needle through the round scallop edges, and when I reach the curve end, where the fabric is inverted, I am just lifting my needle and pulling it back again on the line. After making the stitch along the edge, I will take off all the pins, and you can see that I have made a stitch over my pattern one place, so I am just jiggling it around and it will just come off. You don't have to take off any seams from there. Now for the excess fabric over the hem, I will go ahead and cut it to 1/8 of the inch, and I will also make small notches on the dips of the scallops. Now on my ironing board, I am pushing the scallops inside out with my thumb, and I will press it over it so that it stays nice and firm. I repeated the same thing with my other sleeve as well. I also folded my facing into 1/2 inch inside the sleeves, and then I made a straight stitch along the edge so that my facing is nice and snug. You can see how pretty and cute the scallop edge turned out. Now I'm pinning my sleeves with the right size facing together, and you remember those notches we used while drafting the sleeves. I am placing that notch on my shoulder sleeve, and then I'm pinning it all the way on the front and on the back. I repeated the same with my other sleeve as well. That's how your t-shirt should look on the inside after attaching both the sleeves. Now I will go ahead and fold the t-shirt with the right sides facing together and the wrong side out, and I will pin it starting from my sleeves and my armhole and then along the hem. Repeat the same on the other side as well, and then make a stitch with 1 inch seam allowance. Thank you guys, you are towards the end of the video, and here I have finished making my top, and I skipped making the scallop edges on the hem, so I just made a basic rolled hem on the edge. Let me know in the comments guys, how did you like my tutorial? Thank you for watching guys, hope you enjoyed my video, and stay tuned for some more videos from me. Bye bye.